Good morning, and for those who are in America, happy Thanksgiving. Today we have a Latitude Rugged. This is kind of the competitor of what you might call the Panasonic Toughbook. They're really expensive machines, but I'm finding that this one is actually a little bit different than the Toughbook itself. So this is a 5430. Latitude 5430 Rugged. Okay. I'm finding that the Rugged on this doesn't mean it's a different computer as much as it is really just encased. And I'll show you why. So this customer brought this in because there's a problem with where they shut the screen with a pen in it. I have not turned it on yet, so let's see what it looks like. Right down here somewhere. There we go. So they closed it with a pin in it and it killed it. Okay. So getting the screen out, that's the trick. So what you normally find with these is when you have the screen broken, typically what you'll do is you'll be able to take this bezel off, just kind of like prying it out gently. What I normally do is I use a razor blade on these. And what I'll do is I'll put it in between. There's a little tiny, you can kind of see it. There's a little tiny slot there. And that's what I would normally do to get it started. Put it in right here and just kind of pull it up. And you can see it's giving a little bit. But these are kind of a little bit daunting because they seem like they would be difficult to do. But in this case, I'm finding that this is literally, for the most part, just a regular Latitude. So I took out, this is a T, the screws are not Phillips, they're T6s, I think. I can't really see that very well. Let me put it under the microscope so I can actually see it. See what I can see here. This is, it's helpful to have this. T8, look at that, T8. So this is a T8, and what you would do is, you know, your mind would tell you that you would take these 4 screws off, just like with many laptops similar to this. Let me go ahead and turn this off. It's always a good idea to remove the battery, so I'm going to go ahead and remove the battery. Interesting. Apparently this particular model doesn't shut off when you hold the power button. So let me remove the battery and I will be right back. Okay, so it looks like the battery on these is pretty simple. It appears that it has 2 batteries, and it also, no, that's an expansion bay. With these Latitudes and some of the other Dell computers, you can actually use that for extra storage or another battery. So this is the battery right here. I'm just going to take it off safety, basically. You do this like this, and that takes it off of locking, and then you do that, and it pops it up. So, battery's out. So, now, you open the front, by the way, on this. If you've got one, you kind of know how to open it, but you push down on this and it pops it open. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take out these 4 screws, and I'll show you why. I said earlier something about how it's kind of just encased. If anything, it's not really a completely different build. So a moment ago I was just kind of preparing to do this screen, and I couldn't find a single video on YouTube about this Rugged series screen replacement. And I went on iFixit.com, none there either. But I took the 4 screws out, and using the razor blade, I started to pull it up, and it was really, really difficult. It would not, normally you would pull it and then it would click, and then you could kind of snap it out. But then I realized on the top, you've got more of those. So real quickly, I'm going to remove the rest of these screws. Now, I know there are also lids you can buy that's the entire lid assembly, but, and I should mention, this is the first time I've ever done one of these, but it's just really intuitive on how it's taking it apart. But anyway, if you buy the entire lid, it's a lot more expensive than just buying the LCD panel. So this should go just fine. I should note also the customer bought it, so hopefully they got the right one. Okay, so if I am correct, we should now be able to take this bezel off. It should just snap apart. I am hoping that's the case. So, taking a razor blade. Yep. So, apparently this bezel, it appears, it feels like it's all in one piece. Yeah, there you go. So, it looks like we've got this glued or something. Let me show you a different view here. It looks like this is glued to the actual bezel, the screen itself. I'm going to take the screen from its connection and see how it lines up. So just with any screen, you take the tape back and then you take the little locking, if it has one, this little locking thing right there, and then you can use that as a handle and just pop it off of there. Done. So now we have it apart, just like that. So the question is, how is this attached? It appears that it's just kind of glue. Let's see. You can kind of see right there. It's kind of like glue. So I think the easiest thing to do, yeah, is just kind of go around this and just cut it free. Hopefully, the screen the customer bought does not have this type of configuration in mind. It has the similar configuration, but it has the backing, the pull tabs that you've seen in other videos. This one is literally glued to this screen or taped. So what I might do is I might get some Gorilla Tape, cut some strips all around the outside. I'm going to go grab the other screen to see if it's the same one. Hopefully it is. Yeah, it looks like it's all right. It's still 30 pin. Yeah, should be fine. What I always tell people if they ever order their own screen is to have me take it apart first. And while you can look up, you know, this model, Latitude 5410 or whatever it is, rugged screen, you might not find the panel itself. You might end up with the entire lid for 3 or 4 times what this panel will cost. But the easiest way to do it is to look up the model number. And in this case, it's hard to see, but it's this sharp LQ. Typically, the size of the screen will denote where the model is. This is a 14-inch screen, so you got LQ14, blah, 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 blah. So this is what you would look for on eBay or Amazon to order the screen for a fraction of the cost of replacing the entire lid for this model. So this one looks fine. It does have the backing. These go on the back. They're the pull tab type of things, the quick release, I guess you could call it. So we're going to have to come up with a different way to get this to work. So I think in this case, I'm probably going to go ahead and just cut this other one free and use tape and whatever adhesive might be left over, and we should be okay. So I'm going to pause the video just for a moment, and well, actually no, I think I'll actually just let it play, but I'll speed it up as I remove this so you can see it being done. think I started right there. Let's go to a different view. There we go. So I'm going to use, here we go. Okay, so we got the screen off, and kind of as you can see, there's these glue strips type thing that went around the whole thing. The bottom was barely glued. The sides were kind of glued, not terrible, but there's not a lot of glue left, so I think we're kind of stuck. We're kind of going to be stuck with replacing this and finding a way to make this work without all of that glue. So I'm gonna, first thing is check this. Yeah, it's perfect size. It's exactly the same size, so we're good. We're good there. As always, first thing you want to do when you replace a screen, you have to remove this. I know it's going to make it so you get fingerprints everywhere, but you want to do this because once this is on there, you can't remove it. All right. So now this is going to fit in that same spot, but we have to get it just right. So that's going to be sort of tough, maybe. Just you got to eyeball it, I guess. Yeah, see, you got the top of the lid peeking out there. That's not going to be terribly easy, but we can do it. I'm just lining it up with the old glue spots, I guess you could say. So that way, there we go. Now, if I push that down just enough, we can flip it over. Hey guys, that looks good. That looks good. I will take it. So, first thing I want to do is get some Gorilla Tape, and we're going to cut some pieces of it, and we'll put it here, 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 here. Basically, where we can find it. We could even get away with just these two right here, most likely. But I'm going to get some tape. I'll be back. Okay, so we got some Gorilla Tape. I will caution you on something. When you have Gorilla Tape, or really any kind of tape like this, you end up with you can end up with problems if you're not super careful that you don't have it bunched up. Because if you've ever taken a device, even something like this, and you pushed on it, it kind of makes like a halo type of thing on the screen. And if you push it on a laptop screen, it will do that. I'll actually show you what I mean in just a second. So the point is, when you get this put back together, you don't want it to show pressure marks. So I'm going to start with these two right here. And basically, just kind of put it right there to there. And on this side, kind of got lucky, I think, on how that matches that width perfectly. And just kind of do that. Okay? It's not the ideal way to go, but you don't want to put the tape clear out here. That was my whole point, because if it's pushing against the back right there, it'll make a funny look to it. But we're going to make sure this works, make sure it's compatible screen by hooking it up temporarily, and see if we can get signal here. So we're going to put this on first. There we go. And then you snap down that retaining pin as you took it off. And then we'll just put it right here. I'm going to put more tape on it, so I don't want to seat it completely yet. Okay, put the battery back in. Be careful not to break the screen again, because right there it's not seated, so it has a lot of pressure there. I did that wrong. There we go. All right, so we should have a working screen. Let's see what we got. Here we go. Now, the thing I was telling you about earlier about that halo effect, anytime you do work on a screen, especially when you have to improvise with like that tape like I did, you don't want a pressure point. So when we get to, if you look right here, it's hard to see, but when you have a pressure point from the back, it can make, well, it's not really showing on camera, but it can make some funny things appear, artifacts on the screen. So I'm going to just close it up here and get this, there we go. Gonna get this, see if I can put a little more tape on this, maybe 1 or 2 pieces more, and then we can put it back together permanently. It's always a good idea to test your connection before you go through putting it all back together again. It's just a really good idea, because sometimes you can get it all together and then find out after the fact that it doesn't work, that you've missed something. I'm just going to do the tops here and call it a day. And I think that these things in the back that hold pressure up against this screen should do the rest of the work. We should be good to go. All right. So just put it right back in place. Carefully just snap it in place like it was. And it's a bit finicky on top. I don't know if, see, that's another problem you have. If you don't get this perfectly set in here, then you can have issues when you screw it together. It can cause that same artifact I was telling you about on the screen. Okay, I'm going to remove those 2 top pieces, because it seems like that's where the problem is. It's trying to fit there, and I think it's causing a little bit of an issue. So I think that's what I'll do. See if that helps. Yeah, see, you've got stuff up here and it's just not. Yeah. Okay. So that's coming off because the stuff is pretty thick. Gonna remove those 2 top pieces. See if it fits better. So you got tape on the side and it seems to be fine, but the top didn't like it. So now okay, sometimes you just got to work with this. I'm gonna pause this and kind of play with this off camera just a little bit to see what's holding it up here. Okay, so I'm feeling around on this, and like I say, this is the first time I've ever done one, so if it seems sloppy work, apologize here. And it seems like it's there, but it's just kind of loose. And I remembered that, of course, we have to put all these screws in. So the first thing I'm going to do is put in the front screws, and then I will do the back screws and see how that works. Because this should lock it down, and then the other other screws should do the rest of the work. Okay, so we got everything put back together. Let's turn it on and see if we've got a good screen. Looks good. And turns off. That's good. And now we're going to close it down and see if we get a nice clean. And we do. So there you go. That is the 5430 rugged. And that's how you fix the screen. Thanks, guys. If you like this, feel free to subscribe. And also, I do some mail-in work as well. Check out my, for now, just my email address. It's on my channel. And if you like this, you're welcome to hit the like button and also subscribe for more content like this coming up. I do it as often as I'm able to keep it interesting without repeating the same thing. Have a great day.